Premier Christy Clark had a special visitor in her office today, Vancouver Island fundraising phenom Janice Hedroff, as she celebrated her 18th birthday. And the birthday girl has a big gift to unwrap because in less than 24 hours, Janice Place will open its doors.
Yeah, congratulations, Janice.
Janice Hedroff and her family sat down with the Premier this morning. Christy Clark invited Janice to personally congratulate her on the grand opening of Janice Place and to wish her a happy 18th birthday. The Premier provided a special gift for the birthday girl, a silver bracelet bearing First Nations carvings.
I got a raven bracelet from the Premier. It's pretty awesome. I was not expecting that. I wasn't expecting to be called down here on my birthday, so it was pretty amazing.
Janice Place will officially open its doors tomorrow morning. Queen Alexandra Foundation invites the public to tour the home away from home beginning on Sunday. And the weather this week has forced a couple of changes in the plan. The opening was to have been today, but it's going to happen tomorrow, and it has moved inside to nearby Victoria General Hospital. One of the driving forces behind Janice Place is our own Community Relations Manager, Bruce Williams, who joins us tonight. Bruce, you are the fundraising chair, and this all started when Janice reached her goal with her penny drive for variety, and you and Mel Cooper got involved. And tell us what happened next.
Well, we went to see Angie and Dennis, the folks, and said, you know, we thought maybe they weren't going to achieve their goal on the penny drive that year, and they said, no, actually, we've reached our goal. So then we, of course, said, what are you going to do next? We said, well, Janice wants to build this house. Then Mel and I said, how can we help? And, of course, the answer was build the house. So in July of 2009, the first $1 million gift came in from TELUS Hudson. That's when it all started. And from July of 2009, we broke ground in March of last year. So in less than a year, this is what's happened. We've had this tremendous outpouring. Dur West Construction have been the project managers. I can't say enough about what they've done to make this happen in bringing in other suppliers and other tradespeople. There's Janice putting her mark on it in the pavement. So a remarkable amount has come forward of in-kind support. There's certainly been things that have been paid for too. And one of the goals at the outset was to raise the money to build the house, but more importantly, raise money to operate the house, because it's one thing to do it, it's another to run it. So the whole business plan has been very successful, and we have some terrific news to announce tomorrow. But the bottom line is a huge thank you to the artists, the First Nation artists, and to the tradespeople and all the people that were involved in raising the money and giving us money. And Mel and myself and the whole dream team have worked very hard to make this happen. The QA staff have been remarkable. The inspiration has been Janice and Angie and Dennis, and brother Nick has been there too. Big day tomorrow, Hudson. It's going to be remarkable. You're going to be there with us, I know, and it's because of all of this that I used to predict, but I don't anymore, is why we're moving inside to the cafeteria at the hospital for the official opening tomorrow.
Well, we wish Janice a happy birthday tonight, and good for her and you and everybody who's made this dream become a reality. It's very exciting.
It's been quite a ride.
Look forward to it, Bruce. Thanks. Good to see you.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye. Well, jobs and the economy and a future forest strategy were at the forefront today at the annual Truck Loggers Association conference in Victoria. It is usually a love-in for the Premier, and Christy Clark was warmly received as she gave the keynote address, promising that her government will continue to take a common-sense approach to forest policy. The government's also working on a new policy that will be rolled out in the next several weeks, and she says raw log exports will remain an important part of BC's forest industry.
You can either have a policy that keeps people working in a tough environment, or you can have a policy that throws a whole bunch of people, throws thousands of people out of work. And so, you know, I think the difference between me and Adrian Dix on this one is pretty clear. I am pro-economic development. I'm pro-jobs. I'm in favor of keeping people at work. And that's why he and I have a very different policy on this.
The NDP has responded by saying that Adrian Dix has never promised an all-out ban on raw log exports, but the Democrats do advocate reducing them and ensuring that our resources are used to maximize employment here at home. The Truck Loggers Association says log exports are a huge benefit to BC, and those who are seeking to ban them are not seeing the full picture because the cost of harvesting many of our logs is higher than what domestic markets will pay for. The Truck Loggers Association represents more than 430 member companies in BC's forest industry. Well, a clean bill of health has now been given to a Victoria hotel after a Norwalk-type outbreak last weekend. The Vancouver Island Health Authority says the Harbour Towers Hotel is sterile after a group of journalism students fell ill last weekend. About 70 people were stricken by the virus during a conference. The hotel says it has cleaned all surfaces in the building using bleach, and all rooms have been thoroughly cleaned and sanitized. 34 students who got sick had to extend their stay, and the hotel has provided free accommodation for them. The Coho Ferry is going to be out of service for the next 2 weeks as it takes time out for regular repairs and upgrades. The ferry that goes back and forth carrying cars and people between Victoria and Port Angeles is out of service as of Monday. The Coho is going into dry dock for some interior refurbishment and scheduled maintenance. The Blackball Ferry Line says regular service resumes when the Coho pulls out of Port Angeles at 8 a.m. on February 8th. British Columbia's former privacy commissioner is going to lead the external review into data security on the campus of the University of Victoria. That review was ordered after the theft earlier this month of sensitive personal and financial information from nearly 12,000 current and former UVic employees. Police so far have investigated at least 4 cases of alleged fraud. 2 have been discounted. Former Privacy Commissioner David Flaherty is expected to take 4 months to conduct the review, and the internal assessment at UVic will be part of the process.
The review will look into what happened, what series of events led up to the breach, what the university's response was as a result of the breach, and then we'll come forward with a series of recommendations. We've put a lot of precautions and measures into effect. For example, we're currently in the process of alarming the B wing of the administrative services buildings. We've put in place new standards for encryption on computers moving out of our computer store. We're putting in place advice on encryption for units across campus.
So far, no one at UVic has lost their job as a result of the security breach, but the investigation continues, and Turpin says once Flaherty has offered his recommendations, UVic will deal with those recommendations accordingly. A warning tonight from Victoria Police to be on the lookout for counterfeit money, U.S. bills. There's been a rash of fake American currency circulating on Vancouver Island. Counterfeit U.S. 50s have been passed around in Victoria on 3 separate occasions over the past week. The first incident was on Sunday. One of the phony U.S. 50s was used to purchase items in a store on the 700 block of Fort Street. Then the next day, officers were called back after another report of the counterfeit cash. The third incident happened at the Island Savings Credit Union at Mayfair Mall. Police say you can identify these fake U.S. 50s by examining the paper.
In this particular case here, I'm looking at the color of the bill. It's somewhat faded. And I'm also looking at the texture of the bill. U.S. currency is made of 25% linen and 75% cotton, so it's actually a fiber. If you run your fingers across this, you can tell it's computer paper. It's very smooth and very thin. And I'm also looking at the dimensions of the bill. There's something about it. It looks like it's a little bit narrower than an actual bill.
U.S. money also has a certain scent to it. Police say a man between 20 and 30 years old, about 5'9" with brown hair, is circulating the bills. Well, snow and ice made driving difficult up and down the Mid-Island today, and in the Cowichan Valley, schools were closed because of black ice on the roads. Kids took advantage of the snow day. Public Works crews worked to clear the roads and cover them with salt and sand. The Cowichan Valley Regional District says the flood risk right now is very low, but everyone needs to do their part to be prepared in their homes and their neighborhoods.
If you see an issue, if you see a plugged drain, if you see something that could cause a problem either for yourself or for your neighbors, we encourage you to deal with it if you can. If you aren't able to deal with it, then make that phone call to that appropriate Public Works department to do that. At this point, we don't really see it going into people's homes per se, but again, you know, if you know that you've got a vulnerability, I know I've got some friends who, they live on a bit of an incline, they might have a little bit of water running around. You know, building a bit of a trench in the snow to kind of have it running away from your house is a good idea.
The Cowichan Valley Regional District says there has been significant work over the past few years to upgrade infrastructure and emergency planning to help reduce flood risk. An outpouring of community support has followed break and enter at a mental health facility in Nanaimo. It was just over a week ago we showed you how thieves had broken into the Balmoral Hotel, which is a residence run by the Canadian Mental Health Association. Thieves stole the DVD and the television set in the building's common room. It was a huge loss for the facility, which operates on a tight budget. But since our story aired last week, offers of new TVs and cash donations have been coming in.
I think the community was afraid of us originally when we came in here, and it's so nice that they have rallied around us. They want us here. We're good neighbors. It made us feel welcome. I know the tenants feel like, hey, we are part of a community. I think that was the biggest piece that I got from it, and that my tenants got from it, is that they are part of a community, and the community does care about them.
An older television set has been donated to keep the tenants going until they can purchase a new one that'll hook up to the Balmoral's computer and other video systems. And so far, about $200 has been raised for a new TV. Police arrested a suspect in the robbery just after it happened, but the items stolen have not been recovered. RCMP and Nanaimo are crediting the Harbour City's Crime Stoppers program with a dramatic reduction in crime in the city, and they'd like you to get involved and want you to know how you can take part. January, you might not know, is National Crime Stoppers Month, and the program in Nanaimo is widely considered to be one of the most effective in BC, with a huge participation and success rate. And the tips are always anonymous.
Crime Stoppers is a way that you can report crime so that you never have to testify, you never have to identify yourself. And that's the key component. People want to report crime, but they don't want to get involved in the court process. Maybe they're concerned about a grow up on their street, or they know somebody who's dealing drugs, or somebody who's receiving stolen property. They can call on their phone, they can call from the comfort of their home with their computers now. The IP addresses are never traced, and there's no call display on the phones, and you can call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Since Crime Stoppers started in Nanaimo in 1990, the program has led to 435 arrests and the recovery of nearly $1 million in stolen property and the seizure of $9 million in drugs.